Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Hey, did you miss me, Pandy? Miss me? Miss me? Oh, Pandy! G'day folks, Conor here from C-Dubs Media, back with another video, and today we're doing my full review of the Pixel 6a. So hit the like button and the subscribe button, and let's get stuck into the video. Let's go. So I'm just going to put this out there right now. My daily driver is now the Pixel 6a. And I'm going to go through with you why it's my daily driver and why I'm not using the iPhone 13 or the Pixel 6 Pro or any other device that's out there on the market. But before I do, please, if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you really like this video, hit the super thanks button and donate me enough money for a cup of coffee. That way I can keep drinking coffee. Coffee is my water. It keeps me awake so I can stay up late and make videos for me and for you. So, appreciate it if you can do that. Now, I picked up this, I pre-ordered this for $750 and a week and a half later, it was reduced to $599. So a big fuck you to Google for that for starters. That's one thing that pissed me off. $150 gone because I pre-ordered it. And no charging brick in the case either. So fuck you, double fuck you, Google. And I would say definitely that the fingerprint scanner is the other thing that pisses me off pretty bad because I'm trying to unlock it and it's misfiring. And yes, most of the times I get it right, but sometimes where it just keeps missing. And I'm like thinking, where else am I supposed to put my finger? It's the same place I put it last time and it worked. So that gets a little bit frustrating. I do wish they just left it on the back where they used to have it. And we don't have face unlock either, which I think in this day and age, Google could put it in there. We're talking a 1080p display. It's 6.1 inches. Gorilla Glass 3 on the front, plastic on the back, and an aluminium frame. It's a cheaper build, but I don't really notice too much difference in here with that plastic back. I mean, I've got a case on, and the glass on the front is flat, and it's Gorilla Glass 3, and it looks great. Yes, it's only 60 Hz, but I'll get into that soon. Build and design, it's really good. It's smaller, it fits in my pocket, it fits in my running belt, it fits everywhere nicely. It is easy to handle. I can pretty much use it one-handed for most things, and then when I start to struggle a bit, I can just use that one-handed mode. Yeah, I would like a headphone jack. I think that should be in every phone, so that's another probably a little minus off the 6A there. Someone mentioned the bezels, and I don't look at bezels when I'm using a phone. I look at what's being presented to me on the display, and that's not the bezels. So I don't know how people whinge about that. I don't see that as a problem. Now it is IP67 water and dust resistant, so you can get it a little bit wet outdoors in the rain, maybe spill something on it, it's going to be fine. You don't really want to take this one swimming though. It's not IP68, but it's good enough. I think another thing I should mention, the display is OLED, so you do have some really good technology there. And I think the thing I like about it the most is the size of it. I have been longing for a small device, a small Android device that performs really well. And for a long time, even I was thinking, well, that means I need a small device with 12 gigs of RAM. But Google have proved here that 6 gigabytes of RAM and the Tensor chip are enough to power any phone. And you know what? This is smoother and more fluid than my iPhone 13, which costs 1,350 Aussie dollars. Now, the Pixel 6a is currently selling for 599 Aussie dollars. And on performance, the 6a is better. It's smoother to use, it's more responsive to touch, it's just better in that way. And the 6a is just all over the iPhone 13. And that's not just in the day-to-day usage and performance, it's also in the camera. Which brings me to my next point. Everyone said it. This is the generation before, the camera before from the Pixel 5 and the 4 and the 3. And lots of people are saying that that's a bit of a letdown. But if you've used this camera, you know that it's not a letdown. It's still going to be in your top 10 cameras on the market. And for me, it's even better than that. It's probably still in the top 5. I easily prefer the photos coming from the 6A over the photos coming from the iPhone 13. So I don't want to turn this into an iPhone bashing review, but the 6A performs better in so many ways. So the camera, we have 12.2 megapixel f1.7 wide angle lens as the main shooter. And then the secondary one is a 12 megapixel f2.2, and that is your ultra wide angle. And they both seem to do quite well. Now, the ultra wide actually distorts an awful lot, so I don't tend to use that as much. I tend to just stick with the standard wide angle, which is f1.7 aperture, and you can get some really good photos. And every photo I put up here right now that you're looking at is taken with the Pixel 6a. And then they have those pixel features in the camera app and in the photo app where you can do some really awesome AI editing of your cameras by erasing people from the background or objects from the background. The camera, for me, at this price point, this is the benchmark. Like, that's 10 out of 10 for a $600 phone. For a $2,000 phone, you're going to get better photos on some devices, and that would be the standard for that price point. If photography is your thing, then you will not go past the 6A. Now, I do wish the video was better in the Pixel phones, and that's still the case on the 6A. The 4K is a little bit, how you going? 4K 60, the stabilization starts to not actually perform as well as some of the others, like your Oppo phones and Samsung phones. The stabilization on those guys is amazing. I think the stabilization on the Pixel phones is a little bit lacking for video. I love this mustache. You got 1080p 30 and 60 frames per second and 4K 30 and 60 frames per second. And it does actually have that slow motion mode where you've got 1080p up to 240 frames per second. So you do get some good features here, but the video is not the best. You don't have the most options. And I guess the Google cameras are all about AI and computational photography. So they're just, in their minds, they're doing it all for you. But I like a bit more control with my videos. But it's still really good. Like, look at this footage. Tell me it's bad. It's not. 3, 2, 1, go. Go.
Close your eyes. It's a baby one, I remember that.
I think this is it.
Whoa!
Dad, show that again.
What an idiot.
I got this. Ah! Then the selfie camera is an 8 megapixel shooter. It does the job for selfies or even FaceTime or video calling people. It is just fine as well. I don't have anyone say to me, gee, what's that camera you're using on your phone when I video call them? Front-facing camera, middle of the day, plenty of bright light. But it's good. I like it. It works fine. Now, battery life. They do say it's 24-hour battery life. It isn't. And I never have a phone that is these days, except for some of the Oppo devices. They seem to be the ones that get me through the day. And another thing with the Oppo phones that get me through the day is their super VOOC charging. It's amazing. It's blazing fast, and you never ever that battery anxiety doesn't really kick in because you know it's going to be like 15 minutes. It's going to give you 30, 40%. Not so with the Pixel 6a. Now, I do easily get through to like 6 p.m. at night on a full charge, but I go to bed at 11 p.m. So I definitely have to come home and put it on charge if I don't charge it on the way home or at work before I leave work. So it's definitely not the best in battery life, but what does help it is only having that 6 gigs of RAM and that Tensor chip certainly helps it to survive through the day longer than it would otherwise. So I can get by with the battery and the battery life, but I do wish it would last a little bit longer, and I certainly wish it would charge faster because 50% can take well over an hour to charge. 50% in 1 hour is just too much. I mean, I can charge a full phone on an Oppo in less than 1 hour for some of their more high-end devices. So I think we've got a bit of catching up to do there. So Google, lift your game a little bit with the charging, lift your game a little bit with the battery life. It would be appreciated. Now, my next point is an interesting one because it's performance. And everyone's gone, oh, 6 gigs of RAM, and how's it going to perform? It's only 60 hertz. It's not 120 hertz or 144. This is a big letdown, rah, rah, rah. And yes, again, like I said, on paper, you're probably right. It does look like a bit of a letdown. But in day-to-day performance, I'm not having any problems here. I do a bit of gaming with Minecraft, and I've tested it with Genshin Impact and Asphalt 9. I can hear my cat. He's still not 100% dunny trained, so I've got to keep an eye on him. He was in the cupboard with all my tech gear. I don't think he likes me, this cat. Yeah, so gaming, Genshin Impact, Asphalt 9, Minecraft, they're the 3 games that I do play, and it doesn't have any problems with those. The 60 hertz is enough. I really don't notice not having 120 hertz. I know some of you will, and I remember when 60 hertz first went and 120 hertz first came in, and everyone was like, oh, I can barely notice it. But then when you have to drop back from 120 to 60, it's probably more noticeable. But for me, it's not noticeable enough, and I definitely prefer what I'm trading in to settle on 60 hertz. It's not an issue for me, but it handles the games fine. The Tensor chip and the 6 gigs of RAM do just fine. I don't have any issues at all with the performance. What do I do that could be intensive? I do editing on Lightroom. All my video editing for YouTube and stuff like that, I actually do on my computer unless I'm editing a reel, and it copes with that perfectly. Or if I'm editing a story for Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, whatever the case is, if it's a short, easy video to edit, I'm not having any problems here. I can do some color grading and basic stuff like that. It's really not a problem. Now, the 6 gigs of RAM, how many apps can stay open in the background? Well, for me, it might be 2 or 3 that I actually go back to, and I generally don't really care. If an app's closed down in the background and I open it back up and it reloads, I never find myself going, oh, damn it, that reloaded, my life sucks. Like, that's just not a situation I find myself in. It holds enough open in the background, like 3 or 4 for me really well. And the software is Android 13. As of today, I got Android 13. For some reason, I wasn't getting the update, so I went with the Android beta, which as of now is not Android beta because it's now being released. So that's how I got it. But it's really cool. I don't think there's too many features more than Android 12, but it just tidies it all up nicely. Some really cool pixel features in there. And I think, things like just being able to look at your phone if you want to know what song you can hear in the background. Things like that you don't get on other devices. That dictation where you just press the microphone button and talk, and it says everything that you're saying and it puts it into a message for you or a note or something. It's incredible. And I think Google really owns it here when it comes to your assistant and AI in your smartphone. I think Google has it wrapped up pretty well there. There's some other features on other devices that are pretty cool as well, but as a whole, I think the software and the features and the assistant features on Android 13, they're rigid-dig. Oh man, I think that's about it. Like, I love this device. It's my daily driver. And like I said, I've got the iPhone 13 sitting there, and I use that alongside the Pixel 6a, and I always keep my SIM card in the 6a, always on display. Another great little feature there from Android. It's in my pocket. I'm using it all the time. I've got it paired with my Galaxy Watch, and I've also got it paired with the Pixel Buds Pro. You want to see that review? Click here, and you'll see how it pairs up nicely with the Pixel 6a. All right, ladies and germs, thank you very much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Again, if you've liked it, hit the like button. If you really liked it, hit the super thanks button. Buy me a coffee. Like I say, it's the only thing I need to keep this channel going is coffee. So please buy me coffee. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Check you.